Today I want to prove to you that even with the cheapest materials, you can still create some pretty cool artwork. So let's get straight to it. So starting off with the materials that I'll be using, I'm using an A3 sketch pad by Brunel Franklin and some coloured pencils by Scribblicious. Now in terms of cost, 24 sheets of this paper cost me £2.99 and 36 pencils cost me £3. Or in other words, the paper was 12p per sheet and the pencils were 8p per pencil. And to put that in perspective, the pencils that I usually use, the Faber-Castell Polychromos, are over £1 a pencil. So now I have my materials, I need something to draw, and following on with my whole Lego drawing theme that I'm doing at the moment, I'm going to draw whatever's in this box. So it is a Lego Stegosaurus, which is pretty cool. So I took a picture and started on my sketch, which I did freehand, meaning I was more susceptible to messing up, which I did on the first sketch, especially around the legs. So I did a second one, which I think was a lot more accurate to the reference image and was the one that I ended up colouring in. Pointing out, I also used a random pencil I found, an eraser I cut out from a bigger rubber, and a pencil sharpener. And before doing the coloured pencils, I went over the entire sketch with that eraser just to get rid of a lot of that excess graphite so it wouldn't smudge everywhere. And it was now time to add a bit of colour. Now you're probably waiting for me to tell you that these are really underrated materials and that the cheap pencils are just as good as the professional quality ones at producing professional results. But frankly, that's just not the case. Cheaper pencils often have a really poor range of colours, their blending ability is somewhat questionable, they have really low quality pigment, meaning you can't go very dark in those areas to increase that contrast to make your drawings really pop, and the leads are really quite brittle and break fairly easily. But, and it is a very big but, not having that extensive colour palette really forced me to be more creative with how I use the colours that I had. For instance, because I didn't have any dark greys to help me darken the shadows, I had to use a lot of dark browns, reds, and a lot of blues, which I do use blues, but not as many as I used in this. And this gave quite an abstract look, which I don't think I would have discovered had I not have tried this challenge, which would have been a shame because it actually looks quite cool. Also, because the pencils didn't blend together very well, I wasn't too stressed about making everything perfect, so the whole drawing experience was actually a bit more relaxing than it would have been had I used my normal professional materials. And considering the fact that these pencils are 10 times cheaper than the industry leaders, I think the results I'm getting are actually pretty good. Now I've spoken a lot about the pencils, but not a lot about the paper. Now I did cut it down to A4 if you're wondering why it is an A4 and not an A3, but it has done pretty well. It's held the pigment well, it hasn't torn, and it feels quite substantial as it is 160 GSM. But yeah, this project took me around 6 hours to complete, and I'm really happy with how it turned out, especially considering the materials that I was using. And I really hope that it inspires you to kind of put away your more professional materials and maybe try something with some cheaper alternatives. And if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I hope to see you soon with some more videos just like it. And as always, thank you for watching.